Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. This side Priya Bhatia. And most probably this will be the last video for the year 2025. So इस specific video में we will be talking about 2026 job market. Uh, to be very frank, you know 2026 में expectations यही रहेंगी as a fresher also कि आप और ज़्यादा expertise लेने की कोशिश करो. That's the crux of this entire video. मैं यहाँ पे स्टैक ओवरफ्लो के लिंक्स में जो रिव्यूज़ हैं, जो फीडबैक्स हैं, जो entire results निकल के आए हैं with respect to AI, I will try to showcase that and conclude that as well. Uh, in this video, I will also talking about कि data science के अंदर अभी भी जो बहुत ज़्यादा वाइडली यूज्ड एप्लीकेशंस हैं जहाँ पे हम अपना फोकस कर सकते हैं एंड स्पेशली इफ यू आर अ फ्रेशर ट्राई टू क्रिएट प्रोजेक्ट्स इन दैट स्पेस ओनली राइट बिकॉज whenever I used to host any event, one of the very widely asked question from me is ki Priya, which specific project we should focus on. If let's say we have to prepare for interviews, we need to pick some generalized projects, so what could be those? I'm giving you the ideas about those projects over here. So try to watch this video till the very end. This video is really important in terms of understanding that how should we move ahead in 2026 with a what kind of mindset is required in order to prepare for the specific data specific roles, right? And with that, a very happy new year to everyone. I really hope that whatever be your dreams, whatever be your aspirations you have for the upcoming year, everybody will be able to achieve all of those things. So wish you all a very happy new year. And with that, let's get started with the main topic. I mean, for 2026, how we can prepare ourselves for a job market, and especially because I'm also into this specific space of data science and AI. So I'm talking about that specific domain only, or data analyst as well, or you can say data specific roles. I'm talking about that specific domains. Okay? Now, as I have mentioned that for a fresher, you will observe that things will be two-faced. Freshers market will be of, I would say, two categories. The people who are from a very good college, maybe you can say category number one, is for the people who are either from tier 1 college, or somehow they have already explored a lot of freelance work. I mean, in their college days itself, in their first year, second year, they have already done a lot of collaboration. They know how the things are flowing in the market, in the industries, or they have an advantage of belonging to a tier 1 college. Tier 1 means they are from, let's say, any IITs, or they are from some big, I would say, universities like maybe BITS Pilani, in private colleges as well. I mean, these people who are from these kind of colleges, they also have a big advantage because directly companies came and gave a very handsome salary or the package as a fresher itself to these people, right? I remember my time, I also directly got a job as a data scientist. I don't have as such very huge amount of experience, and there are many of my friends who don't have. I mean, I have a 1 year of experience, but there were a lot of people in my batch who didn't have any experience, and they also directly got a job because we belong to IIT Hyderabad, and we did a specialization in AI domain. So things are very smooth, very easy as comparable to the colleges which are tier 2 or tier 3. Now, This is first category. And for them, I mean, again, it will be easy for them to get a job. It will be very easy for them to get a job with a uh, very good package. And I'm saying very good package. I mean, it's not a big deal for them to get a package of, I would say, 30 LPA also as a CTC when they're starting their journey as a data scientist. So I remember when I got my first job at IITH, it was around this specific package only, and as a fresher only, they have picked me at that point of time back in 2022. So it's not a big deal over there. I mean, people are cracking 50, 60 LPA job offers as well in a very easy manner. Now, this is one thing where things are easy, but they are easy once you will be able to get a seat, once you will be able to crack any competitive exam. That is where you will get this kind of advantage, or you have already explored a lot of freelance work. You know how the industries are flowing. You have that sense of network already as a fresher, and you will be easily able to, crack the things in a very smooth manner. I mean, you have a connections with the managers of the company, with the leads of the company, and they're referring you. Then also things are very smooth for you. But then maximum people in our India belongs to either tier 2 or tier 3. I mean, in this specific course also, there are many people who belongs to the specific category. I'm pretty sure. So almost 90 to 95% people belongs to the specific category, right? In learner specific part. Now, over here, these people require more expertise. I mean, for you guys, the competition will be more tougher as comparable to previous years. Why I am saying so? Because now the expectations of the companies is quite huge because of the adoption of this AI specific tools. It's very important for you all to have a knowledge of, AI tools. Few years back, or even in this year, we were saying that this is something which is a important skill to have. If you have that, it's a good thing. But I would say in 2026 this is not something which is, I would say, a plus skill. It is something which is a necessity, mandatory thing to have. Because nowadays every company is adopting this AI tools, so they're expecting even freshers to know that how we can use AI in order to uh, you know make our things done in a very smooth manner, in a very comfortable manner. So you require more expertise. Now you will be like, we are freshers, how we will get the expertise? The idea could be you should focus more on creating the projects. You should focus more on doing the internships. And then only you will be able to get a chance to crack the companies. So, what I'm trying to convey over here, I don't want to give you any fear. I just want to showcase your reality that we have a lot of applications in data specific role. Many roles you will see will get changed to some new roles as well. Uh, you might have heard many people are saying that, AI is, taking our job, but it's not taking your job. It is doing this task in a very simpler manner. But you should know how can we use that specific tools in order to make your task done in a very smart way, right? So when we talk about data science, when we talk about data science, so now this specific domain data science is not solely focused on algorithms. So not about it's not about algorithms, but it is also about It is also about decision making at scale. Now, any person who is a very good decision maker, that person only will be able to grow in the industry, right? So, over here, our main focus should be that how we will be able to do that specific task, which will be really helpful for the entire company, which will be really helpful to generate the revenue for the entire company. So over here, when we build the right models, when we create a good accurate model which will be able to give us a right prediction, then only we will be able to decide with the help of that context that what kind of decisions our companies should take, right? So over here, as a data scientist also, the expectations are quite huge. So companies are expecting them to have a very good level of expertise. Few years back, if we do just know about the algorithms, their maths, things were working very smooth. But right now and in the upcoming year, I feel it's not only about algorithms, it's about what kind of impact you will be able to give to the entire company. Whether you will be able to create X percentage of revenue for the company or not. And that is what the companies are more focused towards. And from there, we will be talking about the core applications of this domain. So I will be giving you few examples in different sectors, at least those sectors which I am aware of. And then maybe at your end, you can explore other sectors as well. So what are the core applications of this domain of data science? Let's talk about that. So over here, the very first sector that we will be having is the product and tech companies. For example, Amazon. For example, companies like Netflix, YouTube. I'm talking about these companies. Now, how they are using this specific domain of data science? Anyone wants to have any guess before I will talk about this? Any idea how these companies are using the data science specific things in order to get a better revenue for the entire firm? Exactly. So one interesting idea given by Parikshit is churn prediction. How many of you knows this churn prediction? So over here we're talking about applications in this sector. So the very first application shared by Parikshit is user churn prediction. Very good. It's a very interesting application, which is almost, I would say, used by all the industries. Have we covered up the meaning of churn in our last session? Does everybody have any idea what is the meaning of churn? Churn means, yes, churn means, so if we will search a formal definition of churn, or if you will say customer churn, what is the meaning of this? Rate at which customers stop doing business with a company over a specific period. Yes, it could be a loss of a customer. Now, whether it's a Netflix or it's a YouTube or it's Amazon or it's Flipkart, every company wants to retain the customer. That is where they will be able to generate the revenue, right? If the customer will come on their platform, they will do some purchase, they will watch some movies, shows, series, then only the companies will be able to survive, right? So definitely over here we will apply a lot of machine learning specific algorithms which will give the prediction that which specific set of customers will have a higher chance of churning, so that the companies will take a best possible action at that point of time to avoid that churning. Second application, very interesting application shared by Lagnadeep, is recommendation of movies. Or why saying movies? I would say recommendation system. In generalized term, we can say recommendation system. So can I say that almost all the companies now, if you will talk about Netflix, for example, today you have just opened Netflix platform. You opened a movie based on motivation. Uh, Maybe that movie is Dangal, and you watched it. Automatically, you will start getting suggestions, maybe for other movies which are based off motivation only. Have you guys observed that? Similarly, if you're watching any web series, maybe that web series belongs to some couple living in XYZ place, and how they are living, how their day-to-day activities looks like. So you will start getting those kind of recommendations of other web series as well. Similarly, it's happening on YouTube. If you're watching any specific series, let's say you are watching my series on YouTube, automatically, as soon as I will post any new video, even though you have not subscribed to me, YouTube will start giving the suggestion to you to watch more videos. As and when I will be post something new, automatically it will come to you, even though you are not a subscriber of mine. So whatever things you are doing, automatically that will be saved in the history, and that is where the suggestions will pop up. Similarly, in Amazon, let's say today you are exploring iPhone and you're planning to purchase it. So automatically you are getting a recommendation that with iPhone, take a charger of that as well. Are you getting that? Or you will get two, three options that people usually prefer to buy this in a sequential fashion. So take all of these things. Order all of these things in bundle. Right, everyone? I hope everybody have explored all these things. This is something which I'm not saying something unique out of it. Everybody have explored this and experienced this. So this is where again this data science comes into picture. Without the algorithms which are available in data science, we cannot do all these things. I mean, you can't imagine your life, I would say, without AI and data science stuff. I'm living in Bangalore, and from the morning till the night, when I am ordering the grocery, I'm ordering any food, I'm going out and booking my Uber or Ola. When I'm at my home, I'm somehow watching any YouTube video, I'm referring any Udemy course. Almost everywhere you will observe in your daily routine also, you will be using maximum number of time this specific data science things only. You're opening Instagram reels, whatever category of reels you are very frequently watching, automatically it will start suggesting you that many specific type of reels, and that's why your completely hour, 2 hours, 3 hours got wasted, and you'll be like, I don't even know how that time flew, because every company, every platform wants you to stay there. That is the main end goal. Now, it's our mindset and it's our thought process, like whether we are a part of that specific core space or not. Maybe we can try to avoid by clocking a timer of 30 minutes inbuilt available in any platform, so that we get to know that, okay, my completely half an hour is done and now my app is getting logged. Right? Similarly, whenever you search anything, so in search ranking also, you will be able to observe this data science specific algorithms comes into picture. For example, let's say you are searching for maybe some bouquet, or you're searching for maybe some almira, you're searching for maybe something like some flower. So what is happening is there can be multiple products belonging to the same thing in the Amazon, but ranking wise that would be different, and you will get most frequently the people who have purchased that product as a first utmost higher priority as comparable to others. I think you have observed this as well. I mean, it happens for all the products. If you're ordering any electronic item, let's say some automatic washing machine. So there can be multiple companies, uh, they are selling it, but how many, depending upon the number of reviews, depending upon the number of buyers, depending upon the people suggestions, accordingly you will start getting a suggestion, right? So over here, it's very important to do the analysis that how this ranking is going on. I hope it is clear to everyone what I'm trying to convey over here. So search ranking is another application that we have, which is completely based on data science. Similarly, if let's say I will give you one quick demo, let's say I am searching about my name, Priya Bhatia. As soon as you will click anybody's name, it's not about me. Uh, the name, I mean, of those people who are more frequently active on social media platforms like YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter. So you obviously for those namings I am saying. Now over here, when I'm searching it, there can be obviously multiple names with the same name of Priya Bhatia. But why it is popping up my website link or my YouTube channel link or my LinkedIn profile or Instagram profile? The only reason is because maximum number of time people have viewed my pages, and that's the main reason. By the way, I have opened in incognito, and if you also open it, you will get similar kind of a thing. So you will be able to see uh, even over here, if you will see who is Priya Bhatia, you are getting some different profile. So she's also having a similar name, but obviously over here you can see for few of the questions it's sharing my things. For few of the questions, the platform is sharing her links as well, right? So over here you can see the platform, you can see YouTube, you can see LinkedIn, you can see Instagram. In fact, you can see GitHub, you can see all the conferences which I have done, my courses on Udemy, the photos. But apart from this, there are multiple profiles also available with the same name, which you can observe, right? But the point over here is, what I'm trying to convey over here is that this ranking, how it is happening, how it is searching the most famous profile based on the users who are searching them, who are clicking them, and it's happening for all the profiles, right? There can be hundreds of names with the same name, but only few profiles will come up, and the first profile will be the one where maximum users might go and explore. So that is the important point, and that is where again this domain of data science comes into picture. So, is this clear how this product and tech companies are exploring and using the data science, and what are the applications? I mean, these are the frequently used applications. Apart from that, obviously there are other applications also. But yeah, these are the few of them which I'm talking about are the latest and quite frequently used one, right? Sentiment analysis from reviews and social media. Again, that's very much true. I mean, this is specifically, I would say, relevant in the context of all the social media platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well. So whatever be the reviews customers are giving, so if we are doing a sentiment analysis of this, sentiment analysis from the reviews, from the comments by the companies, that is where again very interesting application of data science comes into picture. In fact, over here complete NLP space comes into picture, which actually plays a significant role. By the way, all of these things we will try to explore, we will try to implement when the right time will come, but at least you should have an idea that where exactly these specific things are being used in data science, because that is where you will be able to appreciate the specific field, right? All good. Shall I talk about other interesting space, other interesting sector where data science is very frequently used? If you guys are comfortable till the specific part, if you have any questions to ask, definitely you can pop up in the chat. Another screen is already opened up for the chat window. Okay, everybody is saying yes. So I'm continuing to the other sector. Other sector is, I would say, one of my favorite. It's about finance and fintech. It's about finance and fintech. Over here, uh, If I'll talk about the applications, so these applications will lie in the banking domain, I would say. For example, uh, the very first interesting application is fraud detection. Now, with the AI space, as and when it grows, you will observe that the number of frauds are also increasing, right? Uh, Very easily nowadays, people can mimic the voice, the tone, the gesture, the even face expressions, uh, and create something, some model out of it, and which will be able to recreate the similar kind of a voice. And that is where again the fraud are happening a lot, right? So over here, how, given a data set, my model will be able to figure out that this specific transaction or this specific voice or this specific face belongs to a robotic one, AI one, or it's a fraud, right? So if we're talking about especially fintech domain, so over here we are focusing on the transactions, right? For example, on a monthly basis, let's say uh, my maximum transaction at one point of time is, let's say, 3,000. And at one point of time, the transaction happened of 3 lakh. Obviously, nowadays, banks are very much proactive and they directly either decline the payment or they, first of all, call to the user, confirm that payment, then only the payment will get approved. The only reason is to avoid these cases, right? Second, very important application is loan approval. So previously, it was a very tedious task where manually the people who are working in the banks, they have to go through the entire profile of the customers, and based on that they will have to decide that whether we should provide a loan to any customer or not. Nowadays, almost in every banking firm, almost in every fintech firm, they have a complete end-to-end pipeline, and they just feed the customers information, and based on that the model will give the answer that whether we should provide the loan to a customer or not. So over here, you know, the bank already have an idea that when we are saying that we are not providing any loan to the customer, so there could be a possible reason for the same. And that is where they are we have a concept in machine learning model explainability, where the model is giving the explanation also, the reason also, that why we are not providing the loan to this specific customer. Maybe their CIBIL score is very low, maybe their salary is very low, maybe these people can't be able to afford this huge amount of loan. This is the maximum limit with which this company can provide a loan. So all of these are again the applications of, I would say, data science. We have a lot of machine learning algorithms which are helping us to do the specific task. Never ever bank call the user to approve the payment. No, I think it happens with me a lot. Banks called and confirm that whether this payment is something which is done by you. If not, instantly they say that, block the card or block the account at that moment itself. Like I have an account in ICICI and HDFC, and both of the banks, whenever I do any huge amount of transaction, uh, always they call to me, right? Always they call to me before proceeding ahead, and they say that if you want to confirm, press one, otherwise press two, something like that. And as and when I will press one, then only they will further move ahead, right? So maybe you might have not done a big transaction. That is something that is where things might not happen. SBI also I have an account, but via SBI I have not done any big transaction. But HDFC and ICICI I have used that. I have done that, so I know that they usually call at that specific scenario. Okay, perfect. What else? What else? Where actually this specific space is being used in the stock price analysis. In the stock price analysis. So over here, uh, you know, How many of you have used Upstocks or Grow or Zerodha kind of apps? I'm not really sure again, but if you have ever used it, or if you are doing an SIPs in any of the mutual funds, or if you have ever invested in any of the stock, you will be able to observe that they give us an idea that how the stock have performed in the past 5 years, and what are the chances that how the stock will perform in the upcoming 3 years or in the upcoming 5 years. Have you ever seen this kind of a plot? Almost in all the mutual funds which are quite famous, whether it's about long term or short term or mid term, you will observe these kind of patterns. And based on that specific plots, based on the past historical data, you will decide that which specific stock is actually good for me, depending upon obviously whether you are doing it for 5 years or only for an year or only for 3 years. What are your plans? Accordingly you will decide that which specific stock might work best for me, what kind of returns I'm expecting from any given stock. So over here again, I would say machine learning models comes into picture, because all of these belongs to numeric data. So maximum number of time, whatever be the powerful ML specific models we have, we are using them to do the specific analysis. So you will observe that in almost all of these scenarios, especially in this sector of finance and fintech, 90% of the times, 90% of the task, I would say, uh, are done by machine learning models. ठीक है? There are very few tasks which we might not able to perform well, and that is where we will have to think about other specific domains. But yeah, finance and banking, if your plan is to go towards the specific domain in future, so you should be very very good in ML specific domain. That is where I would say, still till today and in the upcoming near future, uh, ML is something which will be required, right? The second interesting sector, sorry, the third interesting sector, which is again very close to my work, and definitely given a chance in future, I really want to explore further PhD or postdoctoral in this specific domain, which is a healthcare domain. In fact, my complete master's, which I did at IITH, that research completely went into this specific domain. In fact, that was the very first time where I explored this healthcare domain, to be very frank. And I believe that there is a lot of work which should be done further in this specific domain. So yeah, how will it be helpful? I'll talk about this. But I'm getting few questions. Let me take that. Any examples of ML models? Okay, so we have a lot many ML models. For example, few of them are logistic regression, which is majorly used for the classification task. We do have a linear regression, which is majorly used for a regression specific task where you have to predict something continuous value. We have something called as random forest, which is very frequently used in the industries to do classification and regression specific task. We have another powerful model called as XGBoost, which is very frequently used in machine learning to do a lot of tasks with respect to, I would say, clustering, sorry, with respect to the classification and regression. And then we have the clustering algorithms in machine learning for those specific data where the target column is not available. For unsupervised machine learning techniques, this clustering algorithms plays a very interesting and important role, right? Is this fine for those people who are confused with the ML models? And by the way, we will talk about all of these models again in a lot more detail in our upcoming discussion. But yeah, this is the overall idea about the specific space. Quant finance is also a part of fintech, definitely. And over there, we are majorly focusing on mathematical and statistical modeling of the financial markets. So definitely that will also come under this fintech domain, where again, somehow ML specific things will be required more, and you should be having a good expertise for that. Okay. What could be the another sector where there's a lot of applications in data science? As I have talked about, another one is again a very interesting and very close to my heart is the healthcare domain. Over here, the very first application, if I will say, the very first application, if I would say, as already mentioned by someone, yes. So cancer or diabetic, I mean, in generalized term, if I will say, disease risk prediction. So if you have a patient's data available, so we can create a model which will be able to uh, give the probability, which will be able to give us that how much is the chance of having that specific disease. It could be anything. It could be sugar, it could be diabetes, it could be BP, it could be cancer, it could be anything, depending upon what kind of patient data you will be having. Now, it will be very helpful in a sense that, you know, till today, I believe that the number of doctors are not that much huge, right? Uh, if somehow given a chance, if we have a strong models available in the market, so I would say that definitely these models won't be able to replace the doctors at all. That is for sure. But the point is, just like the way for coders, for developers, AI have made our journey a bit easier to write the code, to develop end-to-end applications. Similarly, for doctors, that AI based machines, AI based predictions will be the first sort of truth which will give us, which will give them an idea that what actually the patient is suffering from, how much is the risk factor. And once they will get some predictions from the model, then maybe they can do a further analysis. What will happen at the end of the day is, maybe previously, if let's say they were taking a few hours or a days or a months to diagnose any specific disease, now the time span will get reduced to maybe minutes or within seconds, right? So that is the kind of thing, that is the kind of change which will happen definitely if the models are very matured, if we will be having enough data to train that specific models. Right now, where actually the machines are still juggling, or why we don't have matured models in lot many cases, because the data set is not labeled in an appropriate manner, or it's not that much huge, right? But doctors and many data scientists are working on this specific space, and I believe that after a few years this specific space will also get very matured. Similarly, the second interesting application is medical imaging. And this is where I would say I have worked in my master's research. So, if let's say you will be having a medical image data set, for example, you will be having a CT scans of the patients. Based on those CT scans, if you will be able to create a model, if you will be able to create a matured model, which will be able to determine that how much is the for example lung is infected, what is the inflammation area, how much percentage of that inflamed area, and based on that, if the model will be able to give you the suggestions that you should, definitely put that patient to ICU. Maybe we can classify into three categories: normal, uh, maybe having a middle level problem, or serious level problem. Depending upon that, things will be very easy, right? Once the machine will give that this patient is critical, maybe doctors can take immediate action for that specific patient, comparable to other patients who are either normal or who are having some intermediate level of problem. So that is where again this specific space is very very important. And definitely, especially radiologists. The number of radiologists are not that much huge still in India. Although definitely, if we will compare with the previous years, somehow percentage got increased, but not that much. For example, when the COVID came, I hope you all remember, there was a lot of problem. Chaos happened in India. There was a lack of machines, oxygen suppliers, the doctors as well, right? There were no doctors which are available to check that whether the patient is fine or not. So at that point of time, if we had some great machines which will do first level of scan, and then maybe the patient who are quite serious, maybe the machines are saying that these patients are the filter one which are serious, which require immediate attention, maybe we can align doctors to them, and then the second level and the third level of people. So the people who have lost their lives in that specific span might be very, very less. So these small things, if we take serious action at the same moment, at the time when things are fine, I think that will actually help a lot in near future in India as well, right? Third important aspect, disease risk prediction, medical imaging. Third important aspect is patient readmission analysis. What does that mean? Any guesses? What is the meaning of this? Patient readmission analysis. Any idea? Anyone? Readmitted. What does that mean? Basically, if you will try to create any model which will analyze the patient's past historical data, the records, and then predict that chances of patient coming once again back to the hospital, maybe within a short duration after discharge, then this will be a sign that the treatment is somehow incomplete. Uh, Maybe there is further follow up which is required. If we get that specific idea by the models, then somehow this actually helps the patients to do a further analysis in a better manner. I mean, if we have a patient whose readmission probability is quite huge, it means that somehow the things are not doing in a correct manner. Maybe doctors are not doing it, maybe treatment is incomplete. So we need to take further action and make sure that the treatment will be done in a quality manner, so that there is no further follow up will be required, because the end goal is to make that patient in a healthier manner, right? So that is the main part. So what we want is, we want that these readmission rates will be very, very less for any given hospital. But right now, I think hospitals automatically become a business, another business, where even doctors' uh, mindset is that patient will come again, right? So if we have a positive intention and a right mindset, and with that only we try to create the models, so in that context, things will be very much beneficial for the entire economy, for the entire community in India, right? So that is where again these specific models plays a very, very significant role. Uh, these are the few examples I would say with respect to healthcare domain, but definitely there could be multiple different examples apart from this. One important thing is, when we talk about healthcare domain, this is the only domain that we have where accuracy is secondary. I mean, for other sectors in the space of data science, we always focus on numbers. We always focus that what is the model accuracy? Is this good or bad? This is the only domain where we don't focus much on accuracy aspect. In the very first part, we focus on a concept of explainability and the trust factor. This comes first, followed by any other thing. What is the meaning of explainability? So if I will just give you a formal definition, if you will search model explainability, what does that mean? Maybe you can definitely refer any articles as well about this. It's a very interesting concept. uh, I think this will be better definition. So if I will just copy over here, you can see. This is what I think few minutes back I also have mentioned. So this concept refers to the concept of being able to understand the machine learning model. For example, if a healthcare model is predicting whether a patient is suffering from a particular disease or not, the medical practitioners need to know what parameters the model is taking into account or if the model contains any bias. When I'm saying parameters, over here we're talking about what specific features, right, in a given data set, what specific features actually plays an important role to determine that this patient is having a diabetes, right? So it is necessary that once the model is deployed in the real world, model developers can explain the model. So always remember, if at any point of time in future you get a chance to work in this specific domain, always try to work more towards a model explainability part. Why? Because if you don't create that explanation for a given model, doctors cannot trust it, human beings obviously cannot trust it, and the things will completely go in vain, right? Only giving the prediction that whether the patient is diabetic or not does not make sense at all, because over here we are not dealing with any machines. If let's say some prediction will go wrong, it's completely okay. I mean, over here it's quite serious thing we are doing, right? We cannot play with the lives of any other person. So that is where things becomes more riskier, and that is where the very first uh, important aspect is the explanation of the model and the trust with that specific model, which will come after approval from the doctors as well. And that is very, very important thing. I hope the third interesting sector and its applications are pretty much clear to everyone. So we have talked about how product and tech companies are using this specific field. We have talked about how finance and fintech specific companies are using it. We have talked about how healthcare people who are working under this specific domain are using it. Shall we go to the next sector, sector number 4? If you guys will allow me, I can proceed further. If you have any questions, you can ask from me. Can I get a quick confirmation from everyone? Is this clear till so far? All good? Any questions apart from this topic, I will take at the very end. We will have last half an hour doubt clearing session where I will take all your questions. Very good. So the fourth important sector is the sector of marketing and growth. Again, a very interesting sector. This is especially valuable for edtech specific domain, for I would say banking as well. Yes, a very good example is customer segmentation. So, what are the applications? The very first application is customer segmentation. I mean, uh, for example, if in any edtech space, the company is launching premium courses also and few cheaper courses also. Now, people know, the people who are working in that specific company, they know that which specific learners will prefer to purchase the cheaper courses, and which specific set of customers or the learners are there which will prefer to even afford the huge prices based courses as well. So what internally the edtech space companies does, they try to segregate their customers into three, I would say, components. The very first set of group are the people, are the learners who maybe prefer to purchase any course which is less than 5K. There is a second set of customers who will prefer to purchase a course between 5 to 15K. And then there is a third set of customer who can easily afford the courses beyond 15K as well. So less than 5K could be the people who are the freshers, because they don't have their own earnings. They're not earning right now. So they have to ask this money from their parents. So they obviously prefer that there will be a cheaper course, and they really want to get the best out of that specific course only. Then the second category of people could be the freshers, where they can have parents who can afford this much amount of price, or the people who are working professionals but they don't have a very huge amount of package, so they really want to do a company switch, and for that they're upskilling themselves. But at the same time, because of having a limited amount of money they're getting on a monthly basis, they have to make sure that the prices of the course won't be that much extreme. Then we have a third specific category of people who are working professionals, and maybe they are having a very good salary. So they just want to enroll into any course just for upskilling themselves, right? So there could be other possibilities as well, but I'm just talking about any scenario and how we can look onto this customer segmentation problem. So definitely when companies try to create any courses, if the course's price is less than 5K, they try to intentionally set the promotions, the, I would say, advertisement, especially for freshers only. As soon as the price went up, their target audience is the fresher or the working professional. If it is more than 15K, the target audience is working professional having a good salary. And by the way, they have all these records, because when you try to enter into any website, initially when you do sign in, you will have to enter all these details. So based on that, they segment the customer, they target the customer accordingly, and they get revenue out of it in that specific sense. Similarly, this customer segmentation will also help them to do a campaign and optimization. So whenever companies sell any of their products, now it could be a tech space where their product is their course, or it could be any other company like Amazon. So when they launch any new product, they start their campaigns just to let the audience know that okay, we have launched this specific new product, please check out this product on their website. So definitely, again, this customer segmentation plays a significant role, because once we know what kind of customers will purchase that specific product, accordingly they can give more advertisement, more campaigns towards that specific target audience, right? And these are the, I would say, interesting applications which we will be able to observe in this marketing and growth applications. You will observe in almost all the edtech spaces, because I'm also a part of this space from the past few years. You will observe that they have a marketing team who is calling you guys. I think you might also got a few calls from the teams. So based on your interest, based on your learning pattern, based on your purchasing power, they do a call. They don't do calls randomly. So overall analysis will be done, and that is where they get an idea that which specific customer will purchase their product, and accordingly they will set the campaigns as well, right? Is it good? All fine? Isn't model explainability important in every sector? Why we only emphasize it during healthcare? It's important, but in healthcare, it's the utmost important thing. That's why I have done emphasis on this specific domain. If you can apply this model explanation in almost all the sector, that's a very good thing to do. But what I'm saying is, if you won't apply in, let's say, recommendation system or in search ranking, this explanation part, It might work because in worst case, what will happen? You will get something wrong ranking. You will get some wrong recommendation. So it could not be that much riskier job. But in healthcare domain, it's mandatory to have. That's what I'm trying to convey. It's mandatory to have. Without this, you won't be able to finish any of the project. That's why the emphasis will be more in the specific domain, right? I hope it is clear to everyone. So we have talked about four sectors now and the applications corresponding to it. Shall we move to the last sector? Maybe we can cover up that as well. Sector number 5, which is especially with respect to operations and supply chain. Any idea uh, how this specific sector is using data science specific things? Any guesses? Anyone? What are the applications? Yes, logistics. For example, you have to do a inventory optimization. Obviously, you will have to use data science specific models in order to optimize the inventory. Similarly, over here, the demand forecasting. If you have to predict that whether will the customers will purchase the similar product even after a month or a two, that is where again this data science saves real money and will help the customers, will help the companies to understand that whether you should go ahead and purchase the inventory for few months, maybe 6 months or 4 months or 2 months, and depending upon that they will be able to save the money. Maximum number of times the companies fail because they have done a lot of investment in the inventory which is actually not required. So it's very important metric to know, be it whatever business they are working on, how much is the stock they should store uh, in their area, in their repo, so that they will get to know that if they it is more than beyond that, if it is more than that, if it's not of use, it should not get wasted. So there should always be a backup for this, and that is where again the specific algorithms plays a significant role. So, yeah, these are the five important sectors which I have talked about. And from there, I really hope that you got an intuition that what are the major applications we have in data science and how companies are using it in order to do a different sort of task, right? Is this making sense to everyone? All good? Shall we move ahead? Yes or no? Maza aaya? Is this giving you a broader intuition about what is data science and how we are using it? Let me give you one scenario. For example, let's suppose there is an e-commerce based firm. It could be any company. You can assume Amazon. Uh, so any e-commerce based firm, you can assume that company sees a sudden drop. That company sees a sudden drop in repeat users. So what does that mean? It means that their churning rate is quite increasing. So over here, if you have to solve this problem, obviously company will expect from you to handle this as a data scientist. So we have talked about the end-to-end pipeline in our last class, data science end-to-end pipeline, and multiple times I have covered up this topic as well. So we have to understand the problem statement first, and after that, accordingly, we have to collect the data as well. So, what sort of data based on this specific problem will you collect? That's the first question. Secondly, second question, what sort of metric matters the most? What sort of metric matters the most over here? Third important question which you have to ask is, what sort of decision should come out of the model? So, what sort of model you will train? And at the end of the day, what kind of predictions you're expecting from the model? What decision should come out of the trained model? Metric meaning, do you want to evaluate your model performance via accuracy, via precision, via recall, or any other thing, or any other metric? So we have a lot of evaluation metrics available in data science. And depending upon different use cases, we have to think that which specific evaluation metric will work the best, right? So over here, we need to think these three aspects whenever this kind of a use case will appear. For example, if I will ask you this question, what sort of data will we collect over here? Maybe you will collect the historical data, which will have the past history. You will try to observe in that data that at what specific moment, at what specific time this dropping rate start, in which specific season it gets started, what could be the possible reason of it. Maybe it is because of the season, it is because of you know any incident, it's because of any uh, other specific scenario, right? What metric matters the most? Now, depending upon the use case, depending upon the product, depending upon which specific intuition you're getting from the data analysis part, you will decide the metric as well. And over here, this specific thing, that what kind of uh, output you want, it depends on data collection part. It depends on what sort of data you have. In that, whether you have a target column available on or not. If the target column is available, is this something which belongs to classes? Either we have a categories 0, 1 or 2, or we have something continuous values. And depending upon that, you will decide the model, you will decide the predictions and everything. So these kind of problems will come into picture, and you will try to approach these problems in the industries when you work under this specific domain. I hope it is pretty much clear to everyone, right? All good. Now, this is the first part of our today's session where we have explored about the applications of data science. And in the starting, I have talked about that how the market is actually focusing more expertise in the upcoming year, right? We have talked about that why these AI tools knowledge is necessity nowadays, and it's not something which is kind of a prerequisite. It is something which is must to have right now. Now, in the next part of our discussion, we will talk about generative AI and what actually changed. Because you will observe that in this year, if I'll ask you, the most important thing in the data science space is generative AI. This specific space gets a lot of boom in this year. Many people are very keen to learn about this specific space, and the only reason is the companies are expecting for all the type of data specific roles to know about Gen AI. to know about generative AI. So, what is actually happening in this specific space and why it is important to know? Let's talk about that as well. So, first of all, what is generative AI? What is this generative AI? This is a space where the focus will be on generating the data. Generating the data. Now, when I'm saying generating the data, it could be anything. It could be a numeric data, it could be a textual data, it could be a image based data, it could be any video, anything. Whenever you will observe that in any application, the machine, the model is generating some context out of it, you can call that specific domain as generative AI domain. What this domain actually does. So, what Gen AI actually does right now. So, you will observe that the very first task is text generation, as I have mentioned. For example, you will see the tools like ChatGPT, the tools like Gemini, right? Claude. All of these are the interesting applications of Gen AI, where the main focus is if, let's say, any user is writing any question, it is giving the prompt answer, generating the text, and giving us the results in a wonderful manner. Right, everyone? I hope everybody have used these tools as well. The second interesting thing which Gen AI is doing right now is code assistance. Right? So over here we have co-pilots, extensions available in almost all the IDs right now. We just have to, open that, and we can simply write a question or a prompt, and automatically it starts giving us the suggestion for the entire code itself. Again, this is something which is being done by Gen AI. Vibe coding exactly is another example of it. The third important thing is documentation. Documentation. So, if let's say you want to document anything, so it will start doing it in a wonderful manner in any of your Google document, in any of your Word document. It will, again, we have this versions available where it will start automatically generating the content. For example, if let's say today I am taking a session, I will end this session automatically. I think in the Zoom also we have an option where you will get a document of entire session. You will get an entire discussion, whatever we have done in a proper manner. Again, this is Gen AI. We are not writing it. Automatically, it is listening the entire audio, recording the entire content, and giving the documentation to us in a structured format. Data summarization, another interesting application. Right now, I don't know how many of you have observed, but in Google Gmails, whenever, let's say, we have an entire thread going on where you are connecting with your manager, manager is responding back to you, again, you are responding to your manager. So on the top, you will get automatically the summarization of the entire mail. And if, let's say, multiple parties, multiple people involved in that, so who said what, you will get a summary of that. So again, this is something which will be done by a Gen AI only. So all of these are the interesting applications and the interesting stuffs which will be easily and in a wonderful manner done by this specific space of generative AI. And people are very frequently using this. Right now, if you will ask, I mean, few days back only, I was just looking onto the Stack Overflow survey for 2025. If you don't know, you can refer this website. Uh, So almost every year, the survey comes where a lot of people who are professionals, industry professionals, participate. You will observe that, how many of the people are actually working on this specific space of AI, using it on an almost daily basis. So you can see AI tools in the development process. So if you will see professional developers, I use AI tools daily. So almost 50.6% people use this tools on a daily basis, right? And I think I am a part of that 50% majority people. Then few of them says that we use weekly, few of them says we use monthly or infrequently, few of them says no, but I plan to soon. And then there are people who said that no, I don't plan to. So over here, you can observe that almost maximum chunk of the proportion right now is using this AI tools almost on daily basis. You can see the tool sentiment, you can see the accuracy of AI tools ability to handle a complex task. So almost 4.4%, which is a very small proportion of people, says that it is very well at handling the complex task. Maximum chunk of the users, if we will talk about professional developers, almost 25% users says it is good but not great at handling the complex tasks. And that is the main reason why in the starting of the session also I told you that now you should have a great expertise, a great accuracy in terms of building the great apps, right? Previously, if there is any intermediate level of developer also come into the industry, that might work fine. But right now, you should have a very good level of expertise because intermediate level task is done by AI itself. Now, if you don't have a good coding level expertise, how will you able to understand that where that AI is going wrong? I mean, I'm working in a company at Turing, and right now, whatever be the code work we do, whatever be the task we are doing in the companies, first of all, that specific task will be reviewed by LLM, will be reviewed by these tools, AI specific tools. So we don't have a manual reviewer, we have LLM reviewer. First of all, LLM review that task, and once I got a rating of let's say 4 or 4 plus in that specific task, then only a human reviewer will come and check that task. So what I'm trying to convey over here, that previously it was very easy to work, but right now if you don't have a very good level of understanding, a very good level of expertise, if you won't be able to beat the work of AI, then you won't be able to survive in the industry. So that is the very important thing which you have to take from this session. So yeah, all of these things you can easily observe that are actually easily done by a generative AI. Now, there are many things which Gen AI might not able to do well as well. For example, Gen AI won't be able to understand the business context in a very good manner. We as a human being might be easily able to correlate and will produce a better results in terms of understanding the business context as comparable to Gen AI. Similarly, if there is any biasness in a given data, Gen AI won't be able to understand that or won't be able to give the results accordingly. As a human being, we will be able to better analyze it, that whether there is a biasness in a given data or not. And accordingly, we will try to make sure that if biasness is there, we will handle it in a different manner. Similarly, talking about different metrics. So Gen AI might take a common metrics for all that kind of use cases, but we have a deeper understanding of the context. And depending upon what kind of work we are doing, we will think about the evaluation metric and we can do in a better sense. So in other words, what I'm trying to convey that you can consider this space of generative AI is a co-pilot which will be helping us to do our task in a smoother manner, but it is not a pilot. Who is a pilot? Pilot are we, the human beings, who will do the job in an efficient manner, in a smart manner, using this generative AI domain. So at any point of time, this Gen AI will not take our jobs. It will help us to do our task in a very efficient manner. I think I have read it somewhere as well over this specific article itself, that whether AI will take our jobs or not. Maybe you can explore that. There's a question about this also, and the survey is there about this as well. Employment status, technology. So in this survey, you will get to know that people are using what specific kind of a platform a lot. Programming language, dev IDs, community platform, LLM. So you can see when we talk about LLM, more frequently people are using GPT, then the Claude, then OpenAI reasoning, then Gemini. Search job satisfaction. On the top, it is there, job satisfaction. Okay, let me check. Yeah, I have read it. So in which specific tab it is there, Tarun? In the same tab only? Okay, 4.5. Yeah, I think over here I have checked. Yeah. So you can see, is AI a threat to your job? So over here, you can see almost 63.6% people have mentioned no. 21.3% people said, I'm not really sure. And 15% people have mentioned yes. So confidence is slipping among developers when it comes to the perceived threat of AI to their livelihood. 64% believe AI is not a threat to their job, a decrease from 68% last year. So last year there was a hype that AI will take our job, what will happen, how will we survive, whether there is a need to learn now, or things will get completely changed. But now you can see the percentage uh, get reduced. So over here, the important point is, no, AI is not a threat. The people who know how can we use AI in their daily work and deliver the efficient task, that is where we will be able to get a better results, right? Now, if you will be able to observe, in this specific year, there are two shifts which happened in the entire community of data science. You might have heard these two names. The very first thing is agentic AI. Have you heard about this name? And the second important thing is RAG. So when we talk about generative AI space, these two terms uh, plays a very bigger picture. I mean, if you want to explore this in a lot more depth, you can always refer my YouTube videos. This year, I have created one special playlist for Gen AI, where you will find these topics in a lot more detail. But just to give you an insight, what is happening in agentic AI? So in agentic AI, we are giving a prompt, and based on the prompt, my machine is deciding which specific tool to call, and it is doing the entire task in a smoother manner. Tools means the functions that we are defining inside a given code. So somehow we are creating an end-to-end system in agentic AI that can plan, that can decide, that can act and iterate and repeat the similar task again and again. So a system which will be able to do the entire thing in a smoother manner, in a uh, very good decision making process without any human intervention. That is what we call as agentic AI. So somehow a big chunk of my company's time spent in order to create a data for agentic AI in this specific year where the whole purpose was that if, let's say, I am giving any prompt, so whether my system will be able to fetch the correct tools or not. If it is not correcting it, we have to, as a human reviewer, review them and tell the system to pick this as a correct tool and provide a proper justification of it, so that my system will learn and get a better understanding of at what specific time which specific tool I have to pick, right? So that is where agentic AI comes into picture. Over here, uh, with the help of this, it started learning from the feedback. And right now, the specific systems are very matured, because this year entirely, I think almost every company is working on this specific space. And agentic AI is basically acting in a very, very smooth manner. It's like a human being is working in the back end, but it's not. Agentic AI data is so matured right now that it automatically decides, act, plan in a very smoother way. Whereas in RAG specific application, if we have any confidential data, which is specifically uh, available for a given company, and I don't want to post that in any of the public platforms. So I have something called as knowledge warehouse, which I don't want to spread in any public platform. That is where RAG applications came into picture. And we tried to create end-to-end pipeline for it, where given any question, given any prompt, it will try to see the entire PDF. It will try to see the entire database. It will able to see entire data, wherever it is available, and give us the corresponding response of it. And if we want to see further details about it, it is also giving us the information that on this specific page number, you can go and find the further information about this. So we will be having a very, I would say, interesting applications of these two fields, agentic AI and RAG, uh, in the space of generative AI, right? So in RAG, we have two interesting things happening. One is called as indexing, and another one is called as retrieval. So indexing means that it is trying to, first of all, convert any specific data, whichever you are providing to the system, to its vector. Vector means numeric representation, and that is where we have a very interesting concept of vector store that we have in generative AI. For example, you might have heard about Pinecone, and there are other DBs also, which are used to store the embeddings of these confidential data. And as soon as a user will write any question, it will go to the specific vector store and will be able to fetch the given information in a very beautiful manner. So these two are the quite frequently used topics in the space of Gen AI. If you really want to explore these topics in a lot more detail, definitely I can share with you one of my wonderful resource. Uh, I think in this specific course also we will be covering up these topics in a lot more detail. But if you really want to explore right away, you can definitely check out this specific thing. It will help you to get a better understanding of it. But yeah, this is the overall context about agentic AI and RAG. You should be, first of all, have an idea what is generative AI, then what we are doing in agentic AI, and then what we are doing in a RAG. Shall we move ahead further? All good? Shall we move ahead? In a RAG, what we are doing is, for example, if let's say you will be having any document. Now, this document is a confidential document by the company. You will first of all convert that document into vectors. What is the meaning of vectors? Numeric representations of that document. Because our machines won't be able to understand the textual data. When you convert them, you will store that in a database. When we store vectors in any DB, we call them as a vector store or a vector database. Now, if a user will write any query to extract the information from this PDF, so this query will be checked inside a DB. Wherever there is a perfect match, wherever there will be a perfect match in terms of getting a response, obviously this query will also be converted into vectors. Then the request will be sent to a vector DB, and accordingly a response will be got by the user. So over here, this is what we call as indexing process, where in RAG we're converting our documents into vectors. And this is what we call as retrieval process, where we are trying to get a information retrieved from a given DB. That's an overview of RAG, but RAG is a very big topic. As I have shared already one resource with you all. If you want to explore further, you can definitely refer the videos over there. You will get a better understanding of it. Also, in this specific course, I believe we will be definitely covering up this agentic AI. You can see in the last specific modules, we will be covering up all of these things in a lot more detailed manner. So this is the last module where we will spend our lot of time in learning about these things. But I'm just giving you a recap of what we have in this specific space of generative AI. I hope it is clear to everyone. So basically, what we have learned today, what are the things we have discussed today? What we supposed to focus in the upcoming year? So if I just have to conclude what to focus on in 2026 as a fresher, right? First of all, first important thing is you should have a very good understanding of business problem. Because if you don't understand the business problem in any project, whatever, wherever you're working in a better manner, you won't be able to proceed further. You won't be able to collect the data accordingly. You won't be able to get the depthness of any given problem. You won't be able to conclude the results in an appropriate manner. So getting a business problem is very, very important. Secondly, when you do the EDA or a data cleaning step in any data science specific project, you should require a strong expertise on statistics. So you have to focus on this specific subject and doing a lot of experimentation to check what specific things works best, what specific models are working good, and what specific things are not working good. Third, you have to focus in the upcoming year in exploring about Python and SQL, because whatever be the implementation you will do in data science, everything will be implemented by Python, because Python contains a lot of inbuilt modules with the help of which you will be able to uh, do a lot of tasks in a very easier and a smoother manner. A lot of your records will be available in the database. For example, MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. In order to fetch the data from a DB, you should have a very good understanding of SQL as well. So yes, we have to create a skill set of SQL as well. The next important thing is generative AI. is a must skill to have in the upcoming year as well, without which we will not able to do our work in a smarter manner. Next important thing is understanding of agentic AI workflows is very important. It's very important to have a clear picture of how these agentic AI tools will work, right? The next important thing is you will observe that in the upcoming year, freelancing. I hope everybody knows about freelancing. It means that apart from doing a full time job, you are working with other multiple clients to do the projects. It could be any project related to tech. You will observe that freelancing economy will also boom in next year. I mean, in this specific year also, I have seen a drastic change. But in the upcoming years, you will further observe that even the freshers, they're not relying on a single job. They are doing a lot of freelancing work, which will help them to build the skills to earn further income in a very smoother manner. Acha, you will also observe that in the upcoming year, because right now also I have seen a drastic change in the remote work. People are definitely they want to work more remotely. So definitely companies have to uh, provide them that flexibility. So I feel remote work or hybrid work uh, will continue, because companies have to provide the flexibility to the clients and to the employees as well. Because right now we have a lot many opportunities available remotely as well. So try to target the companies remotely as well. I mean, if you're a fresher, maybe getting into the office might make more sense, but once you start gaining the experience, doing a remote work is also a very good opportunity, because when you work remotely, you will save a lot of time automatically in terms of commuting, in terms of hanging around here and there, and that is where you can spend that specific work amount of time in doing some other work, in doing some other freelance things, right? You will also observe very important thing, that till so far I always say in all the sessions that continuous learning is important. You have to do it. If you won't do it, you won't be able to go ahead and do great things. But now I would say that again, this continuous learning will become the necessity in the upcoming year, because we don't know that what newer things will pop up in the upcoming year, right? This is not only for you, this is for me as well. If we won't learn it, if we won't uh, be up to the industry standards, we won't be able to get the opportunities in our life. So, in order to do the things in a wonderful manner, we have to make sure that our knowledge is updated, is up to the mark. So, at any point of time, whenever you feel that uh, you are somehow lagging, uh, the good thing is right now we will be having a lot of paid courses or free content available on YouTube. So please try to explore, please try to do self study, please try to spend as much time as you can, and uh, do a lot of hard work. I mean, if you if you want to do something in this specific industry, now you will have to be in top 5 to 10% people, where almost everyone in your organization knows you, that okay, this is the person who is working in our company. And one important thing which I missed, I will definitely write it over here, is that till so far people were recognized by their degrees or via their institutes. But maybe I have observed the same thing in this year also. And in the upcoming year also, you will observe that portfolio becomes more important than degree. Portfolio become more important than degree. What does that mean? It means that it's very important for you guys to create your own brand value rather than relying on company's name or college name. It's very, very important because uh, previously, if there is anyone who is not having any GitHub profile or LinkedIn profile, might also get easily a job. But right now, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get the opportunities in your life without being active on LinkedIn or Twitter or GitHub. It's very, very important as a fresher for you all to have a very good profile on these platforms, to stay active on these platforms. If possible, if you like it, start creating content on YouTube as well. I know it is not something which is a niche for everyone, but at least for those people who really want to do it, go ahead and do it. Don't wait for a perfect time to come. As a fresher, you have a lot of time. You have a very less responsibilities in your life. Your only goal is to become a best version of yourself. So try to explore all of these things. How to make a good portfolio? Portfolio means I'm talking about the profiles, the professional websites like LinkedIn. Whatever the learnings you are doing, try to share those learnings on LinkedIn and Twitter. In fact, if possible, try to write some articles maybe on Medium. Whatever be the new things you have learned, how will you explain those new things to any layman person in a very good way? Think about it and write it with a story. It's very important to have a very good storytelling skills, storytelling, and I would say communication skills. Because right now, code writing is not something which is a big deal. The code explanation, what you are doing inside it, what is actually happening in your code, how will you able to explain to the clients who are, let's say, from non-technical background? That thing, that specific thing will be really appreciated. So if you don't know how to explain anything to someone, please start practicing it. That was the reason when I asked the question in the starting of the session, that what things we have covered up in our last session, just to give you that level of confidence to come on stage and explain to everyone that what things we have done. These small, small habits, if you will do voluntarily, if you will start coming on stage, explain the things to everyone, you will get another level of confidence. And this communication skill, this storytelling skill is very, very important if you want to enter into the specific space, right? So try to be active on this specific platforms. Try to share your work. Try to, if possible, create content on YouTube. Shoot videos. When you explain some concepts to someone, you will learn twice, right? You will have a very deeper understanding of that specific concept. So all of these are the important things that I really want to talk about in this session. I think we have already talked about everything. Now I am opening the stage for anyone who is having any questions. You can ask and we can do a quick Q&A round. But before that, let me save the notes and share with you all.